All right, students. So as told to you that we'll be finishing off with the topic of appointment of auditor in this video. So the one discussion is pending, that is with respect to casual vacancy. And then we will also do some overall analysis of appointment of auditor, which I think may also resolve some queries which you would have had during the topic of appointment of auditor. Okay, so casual vacancy is your section 139 subsection 8, right? Okay, so students, when it comes to appointment of auditor in case of casual vacancy, again, we will divide our discussions into two: for government company and non-government company. In case of government company, be it any reason for casual vacancy, any reason, whether resignation or not resignation, whatever be the reason, any reason for casual vacancy, who is going to appoint another auditor? Of course, Comptroller and Auditor General of India shall appoint another auditor. Appoint another auditor within how many days? Within 30 days, because casual vacancy is an emergency situation, so can't give more days over here. Within 30 days, of course. If CNAG of India fails to appoint, then in that case, then board of directors shall appoint the auditor within next 30 days. All right. What if board of directors fail? Then there is no discussion over here. All right. Okay. The term of such auditor who has been appointed is just going to be the conclusion of the annual general meeting. So for whichever year he has been appointed, that year's AGM, when it is done, his term is over. Whether such auditor can be reappointed or not will depend upon the directions of Comptroller and Auditor General of India. In case of non-government company, we will divide our discussions into two. What happens in case of resignation and other than resignation? Okay. In case of resignation of the auditor, things are a little bit different. First, let us discuss other than resignations. For any reason other than resignation, who is going to appoint? Board of directors shall appoint the auditor. Within how many days? Within 30 days. All right. Okay. But in case of resignation, board of directors shall fill the vacancy. So they will, just give a conditional appointment to another auditor, but that appointment will just be a conditional provisional appointment. Shall fill the vacancy within 30 days of resignation. However, this is subject to approval by members. So within next 3 months, through members voting, this should be approved. Within 3 months. Within 3 months from which date? 3 months from the date when board of director filled the vacancy. So within 3 months from the recommendation by the board of directors. All right. So when in the members meeting the appointment is approved, then we say that okay, auditor has been appointed now. Till that point of time, the new auditor who has been filled up that by the board of directors is just going to be a conditional provisional appointment. Okay. These auditors who have been appointed, whether in case of resignation or other than resignation, the term in case of casual vacancy, see, casual vacancy is always a temporary adjustment. So the term is going to be conclusion of the annual general meeting. So for whichever financial year he has been appointed, that year's audit, once it is done and the AGM is done, then the term is over. Okay, 2-3 discussions over here. 2 discussions to be specific. Here, subject to approval by the members within 3 months. So what if members do not intend to approve the auditor recommended by the board of directors? If members do not intend to approve the auditor who has been recommended by the board of directors, in that case, that means, can I say, just if I want to just use different set of words, that means members want to appoint auditor of their own choice. In that case, members shall follow the procedure as prescribed under section 140 subsection 4. So this is basically the section where members get to appoint auditor of their own choice. What is the procedure and stuff? We will discuss that in section 140 subsection 4. Okay. Let us say that. Okay, now let us focus over here. The auditors who have been appointed over here in case of non-government company, whether it be resignation or other than resignation, I told you that term is equal to conclusion of the AGM. So here the question is, see, in case of government company, where the reappointment of the auditor depends upon CAG of India. But here the question, whether such auditor can be reappointed. Actually, मैं reappointed word use नहीं करूँगा. I will say that he can be whether he can be appointed under section 139 subsection 1 as the normal full-term auditor of the company, because in casual vacancy is just a temporary adjustment. So whether such auditor can be again appointed under section 139 subsection 1, giving him the term of 5 years, 10 years, if he can be appointed, whether this 1 year which he has served under casual vacancy, will it be deducted or he will get a full term of 5 years, 10 years. Okay, students, for that, you need to now focus on the discussions that I'm going to do. Here. In this whole topic of appointment of auditor, if you see section 139 subsection 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 were supporting discussions which we have done during the course of the appointment. If you see, first what law does is, first law discusses all the sections about subsequent auditor. Then law discusses all the sections about first auditor. Understand the logical sequence. Then law says that what if there is a casual vacancy? Okay. Now, in case of subsequent audit also, first law discusses everything about non-government company. Non-government company. Then over here, it discusses about government company. Then again, law discusses about non-government company. Then it discusses about government company. And just a minute, friends. I would just like to pull up something for you. If you see this, if you read section 139 subsection 5, which is for government company, notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1. So this is a notwithstanding section. That means, boss, whatever you have studied earlier about other companies, just forget it. And when it comes to government company, subsequent auditor, this is the procedure. Then in case of first auditor also, notwithstanding anything contained above, when it is first auditor, this is the procedure. All right. So please understand that the provisions of rotation of auditor, which is discussed in subsection 2, 3, 4, is rotation of auditor. These provisions for rotation of auditor, just a minute. These provisions for rotation of auditor are for the auditor who is appointed under section 139 subsection 1, right? So for that person, this whole rotation of auditor discussion is done. Okay. So 139.1 non-government company subsequent auditor, it has got basic provisions. Then 2, 3, 4 all discussion about rotation and stuff. Then 5 is for government company subsequent auditor. 7 is government company first auditor, and 6 is non-government company first auditor. So students, for 5 and 7, Reappointment of such auditors depends upon directions of Comptroller and Auditor General of India. All right. But students, when it comes to this auditors, many students have this doubt that auditor who is appointed under 139(6) as the first auditor of non-government company, or auditor who is appointed under 139(8) as an auditor under casual vacancy, can such auditors be appointed under section 139 subsection 1? So first auditor, if he has just served 1 year, are you going to say that he cannot be appointed for another 5 years? Or the auditor under casual vacancy who has also served only 1 year, only one AGM, are you going to say he cannot be reappointed for another 5 years? No, you're not going to say that. Of course, they can be appointed because 139 subsection 1 is a separate section under which you are again getting an appointment. 6 and 8, these are different capacities. So auditor is appointed under 139(6). He can of course be appointed under 139(1). Auditor appointed under 139(8) can again be appointed under 139(1). Not a problem at all. So yes, and he is going to get a full term of 5 years, 10 years in case of individual. In case of firm, is going to get his full term as the case may be. As the case may be applicable, is going to get full term. So 1 year which he has served under first auditor or 1 year which he has served under casual vacancy, that will not be deducted. All right, because of this logic which I'm explaining. So that is one discussion which I wanted to do. Now I'm going to do a very procedural discussion. This is specifically for resignation. Whether it be an auditor of government company or whether it be an auditor of non-government company. All right, so answer for this is yes, which I discussed below. So in case of resignation, all right, if it's an auditor of government company and if it's an auditor of non-government company, in case of resignation, the auditor of the government company has to submit form ADT3, to whom? To the company, to ROC and to CAG. Form ADT3, giving all the reasons of his resignation. In case of non-government company, auditor has to submit form ADT3 giving all the reasons of his resignation. ADT3, maybe form number is ADT3 only, to the company and one copy to the ROC. I want you to read this from the textbook also. Yes, over here. This form ADT3 is submitted under section 140 subsection 2. And if you don't submit, then you will have to pay fines under section 140 subsection 3. All right, within a period of 30 days. So 30 days. All right. And then they are saying with whom you are supposed to file, and you should give the reasons also why you have resigned. HI over here. Now over here, please. In case of failure, the auditor shall be liable to a penalty which shall not be less than 50,000 rupees or the remuneration of auditor whichever is less. So minimum 50,000 or remuneration of auditor whichever is less. And in case of continuing failure, so for let us say you keep on failing it, that means for how many days you have defaulted. Let us say you submitted 45 days after resignation. So 15 days you have continuously failed, with further penalty of 500 rupees for each day after the first during which such failure continues. So if you give it on 36th day, 31st day, then that case no fine. But now if you start giving from 32nd day onwards, they will start calculating fine 500 rupees per day. Acha, sorry, 31st day, I'm so sorry, 31st day पे अगर आपने किया, तो आपका मिनिमम 50,000 और रेम्युनरेशन ऑफ ऑडिटर विच एवर इज लेस, उतना ही फाइन. बेसिकली ये जो 500 रुपीज वाला है विल स्टार्ट गेटिंग कैलकुलेटेड फ्रॉम 32nd डे each day after the first during which such failure continues. And overall penalty cannot exceed rupees 5 lakhs. So minimum rupees 50,000 or auditor's remuneration whichever is less plus rupees 500 per day of continuing failure. And ये जो आपका total fine है, this should not exceed rupees 5 lakh. Right, so total fine over here under 140 subsection 3 will not exceed rupees 5 lakh. I hope you are clear with this. So that is why I just wanted to read this from the module. All right, okay. Now students, just a basic discussion. ये देखो तो ये समझ में आता है क्या? Look at this. A retiring auditor may be reappointed at an annual general meeting. So the existing auditor, retiring auditor, he can be reappointed if first he is not disqualified. Correct. Second, he has not given to the company in writing his unwillingness. That means he has not said that, okay, I'm unwilling to be reappointed. And a special resolution has not been passed at that meeting appointing some other auditor. If a special resolution has been passed at the meeting stating clearly that you cannot be appointed, then you cannot be reappointed. Beta, ये discussion ना कभी समझेगा पता है? When I do section 140 subsection 4. और ये जो पूरा paragraph है ना, ये जो पूरा paragraph कि under which circumstances retiring auditor can be reappointed और उल्टा when he cannot be reappointed. इसका उल्टा लिखो तो he cannot be reappointed. Rest of this. So ये जो पूरा discussion है, this is section 139 subsection 9. All right, okay, but this is common sense. Once we are done with all the discussions, it is not difficult to remember these points. और ये discussion तो मैंने आपके साथ पहले ही कर लिया था in my charts itself, where at any annual general meeting, if no auditor is appointed or reappointed, then existing auditor shall continue. This is section 139 subsection 10. But what if existing auditor also cannot continue? What if existing auditor also cannot continue? Then it will lead to casual vacancy. So these discussions are already done with you. What is section 139 subsection 11? Audit committee's recommendations to be considered in the appointment of auditor. So students, now we can confidently say that whatever discussions are done in the topic of appointment of auditor, which is given in final CA module, we are done with that. If time permits, please ensure that you also go through the questions. एक खाली basic documentation का discussion कर लेता हूँ, that this is given under the rules that whenever auditor is appointed, these are the basic documents, declarations that he needs to give. He needs to provide his written consent to the company. Then boss is willing to be appointed. He has to give a certificate that he is qualified, not a problem, and his appointment is in accordance with the act. He also has to say that he is not disqualified under section 141. Then naturally company after the appointment, company has to file, form ADT1 with the registrar within 15 days of the meeting in which auditor is appointed. So these are documentation formalities, these two documents by the auditor before appointment, before accepting appointment, and these documents by the company. All right, that is why I said that in this video I'm winding up the topic of appointment. So main discussion was casual vacancy, and then all these discussions, and while discussing casual vacancy and stuff, I ended up giving you a snapshot of basically what is the appointment, what are the appointment provisions actually made up of. So all the controversial discussions and everything is covered over here, do not worry about it. Apart from that, I'll be continuing the discussions of company audit in the next video. In the next video, we'll be discussing remuneration of auditor, removal of auditor. I'll try to club as many things as possible in a single video. Thank you so much. All the best.